shorts, t-shirts, tennis shoes. I'm from Baltimore, right? I'm really from Baltimore, like for real. Uh, but I got to a point in my career within the first 3 years where, I wanted more. And I looked around, and the average person that was my peer had been there 20, 30, 40 years. But when I was doing the math, I was like, but you make like 40, 45,000, 50,000 dollars a year, like, that's not gonna cut it. So I remember that I used to always see this gentleman, older African American guy, always wore suits, always had watch, always had the nice shoes, had the corner office, drove the S500. And I'm like, he comes to the same building that I come to. He's on the same floor that I'm on. And he's over there, I'm over here. Right? So I had enough courage to approach him. And we engaged in a mentor-mentee relationship. And mentoring and networking is the reason why I am where I am today. He began to run me through a series of exercises, but I had to prove myself worthy, right? So one of the things that I would encourage everybody is to be coachable. If somebody is sharing information with you, right, be willing to receive it, be willing to implement it. So one of the first things he encouraged me to do was change the way that I dress, change the way that I talk, right? Again, where am I from? I'm from Baltimore. He was like, how you talk to your friends is cool when you're there, but you're here, right? And then he said, change the way that you dress. So I had to go from shorts and t-shirts and tennis shoes to, I took it easy, right? So I eased into khakis, right? So I started off with like khakis and polos, and then what happened, right? Friends started talking about me, they started laughing, oh, you think you better than us, right? But I had a vision. I knew what I wanted. Khakis and polos turned into slacks and polos, that turned into slacks and dress shirts, that turned into slacks and blazers, right? What happened? My career begins to take off. Within a number of years, I was able to 5x my salary, 5 times, because of mentorship and networking. I still have friends to today. We started together. They're still there. And I've moved on. So you have to be able to, if you can, identify a mentor. But it was my mentor who introduced me to his network. I got into HR, and Logan, this is pretty cool, right? I got into HR. It was a Friday afternoon. I had a conversation with the HR director and my mentor. They were really close friends. She said, hey, you know what? I think I need an HR assistant. Had a 15-minute conversation with her. This is on Friday afternoon. Where was I on Monday morning?
You were in that office.
I was an HR assistant.
Early.
No resume, no application, no process. I literally was done with my old job on Monday morning, HR assistant, because of mentorship and networking.
It's that quick, literally.
But you have to be a person who adds value, right? You have to have character. You have to have integrity. You have to be dependable. You have to be the complete package. And when you present yourself as such, you would be surprised how many doors can open.